So guys, in the last video we finished up the forging, buried the blade in vermiculite to soften it up. So went ahead and pulled it out, and that is what we ended up with. So there's like a little lumpy bumpy up in here. I'm going to cut a little bit out of here and start shaping this. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up to the picture, see where we're at. I think it's off too much for me to actually do it the exact way I had it planned. So I'm probably just going to flatten this off and then go ahead and draw what I want as my shape for this Bowie. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get started on that. So guys, the plan I have here is I'm going to set the knife on. I'm going to use a push stick. I already have this squared off pretty good. This is 90, so I should be able to set this on and just pull this through a few times. Then go ahead and swap over and do the same thing, just to try to make sure that this is flat. With my grinder set up on that new tool I got, it's kind of difficult. It's not like really hard to remove that and put a grinding wheel on to break this forge scale, but I have some of these older belts that I've been using a lot, and it's almost time for me to use a new one anyway, so I figured use this old one to break some of the scale off, flatten it up a little bit, and as soon as it's kind of clean and flat, we'll go ahead and bring you in for doing the design. But I'm going to go ahead and get to grinding. Alright guys, so that is kind of what I was shooting for. This is what I got. So, not too shabby for not forging for very long. I mean, remember, I'm still haven't done it for a year yet, so I'll call this a win. Enough on the shape. Now it's time to kind of go in and start drawing the actual finished lines that I want in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Probably, I think a lot of my markers went dead, so I won't be able to do it with marker. But yeah, I'll probably maybe Bowie Dykem this or something, but I'll bring you guys back in when I get this set up. Alright guys, hopefully you can see that decent, but I'm going to make this nice and flat. This is going to come up and curve a little bit. And then in the handle area, I was waiting for the Dykem to dry, so I did take a file to define the ricasso just a little bit. And there's just this little bit in here I want to get rid of. This little line you probably can't see too well back here. If it'd focus. There you go. And then a little bit back here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grind this stuff. This is going to be the grinding video, but this just refining the outside shape. I'm not going to worry about showing you guys this part, but when it gets to the beveling, grinding the bevels and stuff like that before heat treat, that I'll show you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and grind this, and I'll meet you guys back. Alright guys, now I got this covered in Dykem. I'll go ahead and take my little scraper tool thingy here and decide just how high I want my bevels on here. And I'm thinking put a couple scribe lines on there. You can kind of see that out as I can. Down here it's hard because there's still a little bit of scale on there. And before you adjust these, go right to the other side. Do the same mark. And then since I'm going to have a false edge on here, I'm going to go ahead and decide how far I want that. Do it on both sides there. Okay. Now I'm going to probably do the false edge first, and then I'll do this one. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and take this to my granite block and scribe those, my center lines, and then we'll go ahead and get to the grinding the bevels. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take that little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's two lines. So the center of those two lines is the center of the blade. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to start to grind, move across, and then check to make sure I'm not past my scribe line there. And then I'm going to try to keep my plunge line, which is where the blade starts, in the same spot. So it's going to be make like a shallow cut almost to the line, and then go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and grind a little bit of this on camera. The rest I'm going to do off camera. So let me put my mask on. And I did put a brand new belt on here, so this should go pretty good. But if you don't like don't like loud noises, now would be the time to turn your stuff down. So this grinder doesn't like new 36 grit belts. Well, I'll go ahead and turn the light over here a little bit. Maybe that'll help, or make it worse. There we go. There we go. So, until there's still some bumps in the blade. So as I grind this, it'll get cleaner. But I'm trying to keep it nice and even the entire way. I'm going to go ahead and do this, then this side, and then I'll do these ones. It's pretty much the same. You want to leave a big enough gap, or big enough steel left for when we go to heat treat. So I'm going to go ahead and grind this some more, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm done grinding. Alright guys, I got the bevels roughed in on both sides. They're pretty equal. The blade's nice and straight. I actually did pretty well, a lot better than I thought I did when I was forging it. It's actually pretty flat. The reason why there's some chunky spots here is there's some hammer marks, so I am going to sand this a little bit more before heat treat and take the bevels up to a little bit higher grit. It's like at a 60 right now, but yeah, turned out pretty good so far. Handle, I think I would have liked just a little bit more. If I could have drew this out just a little bit more, but should be able to use this pretty well. I don't want to do that. That's how you hurt yourself. But yeah, it's turning out pretty good. I am going to put a little sharpening, I think it's a choil, that's what it's called, sharpening choil. And I did have this a little bit off center, just barely. But yeah, I mean, grinding this is turning out pretty good. I was setting my hand on the rest and then doing that, so I was kind of freehanding it. I would like to eventually get a jig for doing knives, but overall I think she turned out pretty good. The one thing I know I'm doing wrong is this is actually sharp. This is too thin for heat treat. This is probably going to crack and fall off. I might run a file over it just after I'm done doing all the bevels to the grit I want. I'm going to go ahead and round that a little bit. It'll come back after heat treat. But I did a chef knife and the tip broke during heat treat, so I'm pretty sure. I think that's from when I'm grinding. Used to tapering, so when I get to the end I tip it. So I need to learn to do that a little bit better, but overall not bad. So if you like this so far, please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm definitely enjoying this one. I think I like this one better than a kukri so far, just because I'm learning. I think I learned a little bit. This thing's going to be pretty good for chopping. It feels like it's got a good weight to it. When I add the brass and the wood scales, this should be a little bit more even. Because right now, the center of the blade, the weight of the blade's up here. It's right here. It'll be really good for chopping and being able to rebound. So there it is, one last time before I keep grinding on her.